Welcome to part 2 out of 3 in this series, and I'll waste no time and move straight into the player who Gary Neville described as...
I remember categorically Sir Alex Ferguson saying that this was the biggest talent he'd seen at the club since Ryan Giggs, and that is an enormous statement from someone like Sir Alex Ferguson.
So let's talk about this attacking midfielder and what exactly went wrong in his career. Ravel Morrison was scouted and brought into the Man United Academy as a young teenager. In the academy and the England youth team, his potential was astronomical. It is hard to put into words how good this player could have been. Wayne Rooney said he was miles ahead of Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard, who Morrison had played alongside both in the Man United youth team. Even from early on at Man United, he would impress on the pitch. For a teenager, his understanding of the game was very experienced, and his ability seriously impressed everyone that saw him play, coaches and players alike. But his downfall inevitably came from off the pitch. In 2011, Morrison pleaded guilty to witness intimidation and was given a 12-month referral order. And with 6 months left on his Man United contract, and the fact that they already had a very strong midfield, the board at Man United and manager Alex Ferguson believed that it was in his and the club's best interest if they released him and did not renew his contract. Despite his sudden exit from Man United, people still had high expectations for the young player, and when he was transferred to West Ham on a 3.5-year contract, people believed that his career was far from over. Being a championship side club when he joined, West Ham were promoted to the Premier League just a season after Morrison joined the club, but it was fair to say that Ravel Morrison did not play a significant part in this, making just one league appearance in the whole season for just 9 minutes, despite being fit to play for the majority of the year. And with it being clear that Morrison wasn't adding anything significant to the first team at West Ham, the season after he was loaned to Birmingham City. He was given game time at Birmingham City, and whilst his 3 goals in 30 games does not show a great performance on paper, he did have moments where he displayed class. Even though Morrison's problems with attitude became serious enough that the manager of Birmingham considered terminating his loan, he made it through the entire season, and not a bad one at that. On his return to West Ham, he made the first team breakthrough and arguably had the best spell of games in his entire career, scoring 5 times during the first half of the season, including a world-class goal against Tottenham. Despite a decent first half of the season, the manager of West Ham, Sam Allardyce, noticed a lack of concentration and discipline in the young player. One example of this is when he could be seen arguing and fighting with England under-21 teammate Wilfried Zaha, and when West Ham waited on Christmas Day for Morrison to turn up on the team coach, only to find that Morrison was having a Christmas dinner and posting about it on Instagram. It was clear to Sam Allardyce that the player's talent was not a question, and the blame instead fell onto his attitude. He was loaned out again to QPR and found good form. This guy clearly had the talent to perform on the pitch, but was just missing the discipline and desire to reach the top level. His QPR time concluded with 6 goals in 15 matches, but it was clear when he returned to West Ham that his relationship with Sam Allardyce had gone sour. He was loaned out again, this time to Cardiff City, but after 7 appearances and only 1 start, the manager stated that Morrison had no future in the club and cut his loan short and sent him back to West Ham. From this point onwards, it was simply downhill for Morrison. He first transferred to Lazio in Italy, but a mixture of a lack of game time and the fact he did not speak Italian meant Morrison struggled to gel with the team and cement himself as a first choice. Because of this, he was loaned out from Lazio back to English club QPR. His loan spell this time, however, was not nearly as successful as his first loan spell at QPR, making just 5 appearances for them the whole season, as well as QPR turning down the option to permanently buy Morrison at the end of the loan for a fee of $2 million. It is unbelievable that someone who was at one point called the biggest talent that Man United's academy had ever had was now being rejected by a championship club. His time at QPR was pretty much a blueprint for how the rest of his career would go. In the next 4 seasons, he would play for 5 different clubs, with each of his transfer or loan deals being either terminated or not renewed further. He spent his prime years making minimal appearances for small clubs and failing to make an impact wherever he would end up playing. He currently plays for DC United in America, but has never fully reached the heights that almost everyone thought he would reach. This now poses the question of what went wrong. His technical ability and talent were always a joke. He seemed to understand the game so well and would glide past defenders, but they were never the problem. He never seemed to gel well with managers and players he worked with. This could be because he did not have the desire and drive that all top players need to have, and this could have also been because he was simply undisciplined. Another reason could have been his bad legal image. He was involved in several legal battles over his career. In 2018 for witness intimidation, in 2012 for a homophobic tweet, in 2014 for assault against his girlfriend and mother, and in 2023 for the use of a fraudulent disabled parking permit. Having these allegations made against a player is not just bad PR for the player themselves, but the club and surrounding individuals. This is also why Morrison left Man United originally, as bad legal representation darkened the image of Ravel Morrison and whatever club he would play for. In addition to this, his attitude just did not suit the managers he worked with. Ravel Morrison stated in a fairly recent interview that it makes you a bit upset. I could have gone further. I should have gone further.